NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with MovieMaker. I'm Tim Molloy, and I'm here now with Ruthy Pribar, director of the excellent new film, Asia. Let's take a look at a clip to begin.
Чё ты такая?
Какая?
Такая. Пошутила я, ну.
אני חתמת בתולה.
לא, את לא. Знаешь, то, что у них там между ног такое же большое удовольствие. Я серьезно. Это единственное, что я от них получила. Когда ты была маленькая, мы так засыпали с тобой. Я все время просыпалась от страха, что раздавила тебя. А ты спала себе тихонечко. Ничто тебе не мешало. А вот укладывать тебя было просто ужас. Ты лежала, как коза. Только когда я пела, ты успокаивалась. Марасот. Ложкой снег мешая, ночь идет большая.
Да,
Что же ты, малышка, не спишь? Спят твои соседи, белые медведи, спи ты, малыш.
So, Ruthy, it's a huge honor to get to talk with you about this film. Just to start, can you give us kind of a synopsis of what it's about?
Sure. It's a film that tells the story of a mother and daughter, a very young mother, 35 years old, to a teenage daughter. And as the film develops, you understand that the daughter is seriously ill, and only through her illness, these two mother and daughter start to really know each other, because before that they were just two strangers in one house. So this illness is in a way a way for them to become closer.
Yeah. Both of your lead actresses are amazing, and it's remarked upon a lot in the film that they look so much alike. How did you find not only two actresses who were so good, but two actresses who really do resemble one another? What was that casting process like?
Actually, it was, I think sometimes in films, you just have to be lucky in a way. You have to trust in some filmmaking gods, because otherwise you would just, be so desperate and depressed most of the time. But I knew right off from the moment I started writing the script that I wanted two actresses that would really be similar to one another, because one of the most important aspects for me of the film is that Asia looks at her daughter, at Vika, and they look so much alike, but she knows she will never be the woman that she is. She will never have the chance to grow up. And the same goes for Vika, that when she looks at her mother, she knows she's never going to be that woman. And apart from that, they're both in a stage in their life that they're so young and they're still full of life, and they still want things in their future, that they are almost sisters in the way that they interact with one another. So the similarity had a large part of what I had in mind with the film. And to talk about the casting process, it's really, we had so many auditions for both parts separately. And then we started matching up actresses that were that stood out. And Shira Haas and Alona Eve both stood out right from the beginning. So we knew we wanted them to try. But I have to say that before the first time I saw them together, I had no idea how similar they would look on screen. Only when they were in the same room, I said, okay, you cannot ignore that. There's a similarity where you know that this is it. And the moment I saw them together, it was just so obvious that these are the actresses that I'm going to take. So it was a very, very happy moment for me.
It's really uncanny. There's some of the early scenes, like I think the scene at the skate park, when I first saw the young actress, I was like, is that Shira Haas, or is that, like, I really couldn't tell, you know, mother from daughter. They look so similar. And it really helps the film. You just completely accept their relationship. Where did the first seed of this film come from? Where did you get the initial idea?
Well, it started from a personal experience that happened many years before. 14 years ago, I lost my sister and my older sister, and it was something that I kept dealing with in my writing and in my films. But I guess as I grew up, I started thinking about this loss from other perspectives, not only of my own, but of my mother's. And the way I was dealing with my sister while she was in the hospital, I was there. I was constantly coming to visit. I spent every day I would spend a few hours by her bedside. But I was emotionally, I was completely detached, and I was unable to be there for her and for me. And my mother was the complete opposite. She was there, invested in taking care of my sister, and being there emotionally, and being able to cry about it, and being able to talk about it. And she was also able to say goodbye when the time came, which is something I was not able to do. So when I started writing the script, it was about trying to take a character that started out like me, like the way I was, completely detached from the situation. I'm unable to understand that her daughter is going to die, and not facing it at all, and reach the point where my mother was, which was taking her in, being there by her side, doing everything she can to help her, or to just be with her until the very end. So this is in a nutshell how the story came about. And I mean, I wouldn't say that the storyline is not biographical at all, but the emotions are very close to me and very personal.
I'm sorry about your sister. One thing that really struck me about the movie is kind of the mundanity of the day to day. When you know someone is terminally ill, we all think that we're going to go out and travel or do some amazing thing, but honestly, you spend a lot of time just watching TV with the person, or just having meals. And I thought you did a really beautiful job of showing that. I was also surprised the way that they talk about, the mother and daughter talk a lot about sex in the movie, which is like the last thing that parents and children ever want to talk about. How much did you consider whether you wanted to go there? I mean, was that a difficult thing to tackle?
I don't know. I haven't really. It wasn't something that I was contemplating on. I knew right from the start that because the small age difference, this would be an issue, and because both of them are. Asia is a very sexual person, and she uses her sexuality, and I mean, she's just. She's not afraid to be this woman, this attractive woman that goes out, that has fun, that has sex. And her daughter wants to be that woman. She wants to be there. This is what we talked about also early on. So this is like an unspoken subject between them. And as Vika's illness progresses, all these unspoken subjects become spoken, and they get out, and they have time to really deal with this situation and face it with each other.
Yeah. It feels very organic and real the way that it happens, but it's a conversation that people are so hesitant to broach in real life. So I was really impressed with that. What was the biggest obstacle that you faced in making this movie, or the biggest challenge that you overcame?
Well, it's actually a funny thing. I wrote the film when I was just fresh out of film school, and a few months after that, I started writing the script, and I didn't even think about being a mother at the time, and it didn't even cross my mind. And I have to say that also for a woman director, I mean, I had my path. It was very clear for me that the first thing I'm going to do is a feature film, and only after that I'm going to have children. And somehow it didn't turn out that way. So what happened is I finished writing the script, and we went into funding, and it went out. I mean, we got the funding. It didn't take so long, and then we started pre-production, and then I found out I was pregnant.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and we were already casting, and I said, okay, I'm gonna shoot this film when I'm pregnant. It's okay, I'm gonna do that. And then I went to my producers and I told them, listen, I'm pregnant. And say, oh, congratulations, everything's good. We're gonna have to talk to the insurance company. And once they spoke with the insurance company, they said they don't insure productions where the director is pregnant. And yes, so years after thinking this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the film, then I'm going to become a mother, things completely changed. So what happened is I had to postpone shooting for more than a year, and I had to shoot the film when I had a 10-month-old son, and you know, he was still I was still nursing him. It was really crazy making a film in this situation, but I guess it was a blessing in disguise because I brought so many of my personal experiences into the film, because I was feeling what it meant to be a mother, which is something the film really talks about. So that's the way it was meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, our son is about the age that your child was when you were making the film. So I felt it really acutely. I mean, it really got me. And I'm not making a joke about this. I mean, I gave him a little more attention today after watching the film. I mean, because you just do appreciate your child so much more. And you really felt that through the movie. I'm also furious at your insurance company. That's disgusting. And
Yeah,
that seems, with all of the people they insure, pregnant women seem like one of the lesser risks.
exactly.
Ridiculous. Do you have any advice for other filmmakers?
There's so much to say. I guess just to be very true to what you want, to know that you need to fight for it, and to know that if you want to make a film, you can't make a film because you want to make a film. You need to really want to say something that is important to you, because otherwise you won't make it so far. I mean, it takes so long to make a film, even when it's considerably short. It's still a long time. So you really need to be into it.
Yeah. You're also an editor. Can you talk about how that affects you as a director?
Yeah, I mean, in Israel or in the world, you can't really be a director, or a first-time director anyway, and make a living out of it, because it's, as I said, it takes so long to make a film. So in the meantime, I was editing, and I started out from editing, and editing in a lot of ways, especially with documentaries, which is most of what I've edited. It's a lot about screenwriting, and it's just understanding how to tell a story. And everything I edited in my life somehow changed something in the way I see films and storytelling. And it just makes writing easier in a way, because I just have it in my mind. And I also, when I go out to shoot, I already imagine how I'm going to edit it. Where is the cut going to be? And a lot of times when you sit in front of the monitor and you watch the shot and you think, okay, some people do one shots, right? So they have to have the whole thing. But so we have that as well in the film. Also, we have some scenes that are only one shot, but we have a lot that are cut. And for me as an editor, I can say, okay, I have this from, I have parts of it from here, parts of it from here. That's going to be enough, and it makes it so much easier when you're an editor because you know that you've got it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you, as a text writer, I always think of editing as the most important part. Do you think of editing as screenwriting, or are they differentiated? I know that sounds weird because obviously you're writing a script, which is different, but the editing is where you're finally putting the finishing touches on the story.
I think editing is somehow more about feeling it. I mean, screenwriting as well, but sometimes when you edit, when you cut something, you can let yourself be surprised.
Mhm.
Or when you you have mistakes that have been made by accident or something, and somehow they look good. This is something that in screenwriting is not always possible. You can't like mix it all up and see what happens. But in editing, you allow yourself to make more mistakes, which is fun. And somehow great things turn out that way. I wish I could do that in screenwriting, actually. Maybe I should try.
One of the prizes you've won for this is the Nora Ephron Prize.
Right.
Was that especially special to you? I mean, because I revere Nora Ephron. I mean, was that an especially wonderful name to have associated with your film?
Um, in general, it was, I have to say, Tribeca was such a strange experience. It was wonderful, but it was also like it was the beginning of the pandemic. No one knew what was going on. We were under quarantine. I was in my home, my kids sleeping. But I mean, it was in the middle of the night, and I was told I was going to have an interview, and then they I mean, I was ready for an interview just like we're doing here. And then they told me, oh, listen, you've won the Nora Ephron Award. And I'm like, wow. I was just so shocked.
Uh,
And so,
They
and so
sprang
happy. What?
they sprang it on you without telling you before?
Yeah. And I had no idea what was going on because I couldn't even imagine this is what was going to happen. And it was the first time that the film was showing somewhere, and I haven't seen it with a crowd, right? Because I haven't seen it in the movie theater. So it was just such a strange experience. Of course, it was. I was very happy, and it's a wonderful award, and just to be in that list of women that have won that award is wonderful. But it's still this whole year of you know of showing the film without being in any of the screening. It's just such a strange experience for a filmmaker.
I think you'd hear a lot of crying if you saw it in a screening with other people. I don't know. It's one of those movies that definitely works well, I think, in either setting. I think it's the rare movie that would work in either setting because you may not want to be that emotional with that many people around because it's a really emotional, powerful movie.
Thank you. I have seen it with a few people in a movie theater, but really like I don't know, maximum 15 people. And most of the time, and it was people that have been associated with the film somehow. So I did get a feeling of what it would be, a sense of what it would be, but it's not like having a full house, a screening that's full and people that are just, you feel the movie with them.
Yeah.
So I'm wishing it would happen soon. I don't know.
I asked the biggest challenge, so maybe I can close on, because you mentioned happy accidents in editing. What was the biggest nice surprise in the making of the film?
Nice surprise. I have to like think over all the everything in the
Or a nice surprise. It doesn't have to be the biggest. But was there any particular thing that happened where you went, boy, that worked out really nicely. I'm really happy that happened that way.
um Yeah, we had something like that. But it was during the pre-production. We were looking for apartments for us and Vika. We shot in Jerusalem, and we were looking for an apartment a really, really, really long time. And I mean, we had to pick one, and we weren't happy about it. Not me and not the cinematographer. And it didn't have a porch. Okay. And one of the things that we wanted is for us and Vika to be able to look outside into the world without getting out of the apartment and not staring at the window, but by sitting outside with the scene where they're smoking a cigarette together. So then we went on and we searched for porches in Jerusalem. Like we searched for different apartments that had a porch. So we saw, like, I don't know, tens of, really a lot of porches, and none of them really worked, and none of them fit the apartment that we had to sort of, see how it could look like it was part of that apartment. And then we entered this apartment and to see a porch, and we were like, we were looking at each other and said, okay, this apartment is perfect and it has a porch. Why don't we just move everything there? And it was literally like 3 days before shooting. So we, yeah. So and it was the last floor in a really big apartment building that you can see in the film, and no elevator, and really it changed everything, because the other one was like a lower floor, and we can light from the outside. So it really changed the whole film and the way it looks, and I love it. And I can't imagine how it would look if we would have to settle for a different apartment. It was just, again, like a strike of luck.
Well, that's all I have. I'm honored to get to talk to you, and I just want to say how much I enjoyed the film. Ruthy Pribar, congratulations on Asia.
Thank you so much.